One.
Okay, good evening.
Okay.
Good evening. Welcome to a Wednesday night session of Cat Space. I am Kat. This is Buckets. We would love to formally introduce two new of our dearest friends to the Cat Space family with us tonight. The wonderful Aaron Fleming, who is in Wales, and Brett Harvey, who is in Las Vegas. Welcome to our family. How are you both tonight?
I guess I'll go first. I'm doing really well.
Good.
Having a great night.
Good. That's how we like it. All right. So, how are you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing quite well. Just got up. It's morning here.
Good morning.
Yeah.
So, tonight, or this morning, or this evening's episode is based on Big Brother Australia. Look, we've had Big Brother Australia since the very beginning of time here.
Yeah.
It's basically like Vegemite. It's iconic. It's legendary.
It's stalky.
It's a staple in Australia's history. From the beginning of 2001 right up until 2014. It then took a massive break until the revival of Big Brother Australia on Channel 7 2020, and now we're about to hit All Stars. First question, what was your favorite Big Brother season and why?
Ooh, shall I go first?
Go first.
My favorite season was in 2012, I think, when Ben Norris won the series, and I just like the sort of old styly formats of Big Brother, like before it went to Channel 7, obviously. Yeah.
What about you, Braden?
So I have currently been doing a rewatch of all the seasons. I'm currently on series 4, but from the seasons that I have seen, I will say series 10, which is 2013. Team 1. I would say iconic cast. It was the series that really got me into the show in the first place. So I'm really, I have fond memories of it.
I think my favorite season of all time is season 12, which was on 9. Season 12 was, I felt we came back to originality. Like, we had the naughty room, the tasks were better. You know, we had a cast that was full of surprises. Ben Norris won. You know, we had the whole, you know, sort of Estelle versus Ben versus Stacker versus Layla and Sam when they got to the captain's quarters. I think season 12 was my favorite. Season 13 came with more surprises, which is the Drew and Tully episode, which I believe they're back. So those were mine. Second question, boys. With the All-Star series, do you think that will excite new viewers into tuning in and sort of, you know, having fun with the current ex-housemates versus the new housemates? What do you think?
I think they'll just like it if it's not a repeat, because what I've noticed about some of the Big Brothers is that they kind of repeat things that have happened in other countries, such as the Canadian Big Brother, which I really liked. I really liked the Canadian Big Brother. And also I think it was the Channel 9 version of Big Brother. I really did like the Channel 7 version of Big Brother, but I found that they kept repeating things that were in previous Big Brother, like, for example, hiding people into the walls and not quite voting them out. Yeah. But I still found it fun, but I want them to make one of the funnest bit about the whole Big Brother house was the element of surprise. So if they can keep pumping out original ideas, I think it's going to be a really fun show.
What about you, Braden? Do you think they'll viewers?
I don't know about new viewers though. I mean, it's kind of been proven with, I guess, the last two series is that, yeah, we're getting younger people to watch, but it's not really engaging them enough. I think the show being pre-recorded is what's really setting the show back from doing so much more. And look, as much as I think it's great to have old faces to come back, as much as there should have been an all-star series so long ago, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just hope for the best, really, after the two previous series. So,
Aaron?
Well, I'm not sure about new viewers, but I think perhaps the inclusion of previous housemates will entice maybe older viewers to maybe start enjoying the show again.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Third question. Who are your favorite past contestants? Like, let's talk about let's not just include new ones from Channel 7. Let's dig way back. Let's dissect the whole past from the present. For me, Drew and Tully, it's Ben, it's Layla, it's Josh, it's Reggie, it's Trevor. Let's dissect the importance of past. Who are your favorite past contestants, Aaron?
Oh, I did like Tim when he was in there. He played the he I think he sort of sets the bar high for like the past season, the seasons that went after his ones. So yeah, I think he sets the bar quite high.
Do you have a favorite?
I have actually two favorites. So I loved Danny. I mean, I used to hate Danny in the beginning, and I think everyone hated Danny in the beginning. But then I kind of grew to kind of like him because to me, he felt like the typical Aussie battler that kept battling the odds. And that's why I think I really liked Danny. But strangely, and I might be alone with this, but I actually really liked Kieran. And the reason why I really liked Kieran is that against all odds, he should have been kicked out from the very beginning because he was crap at pretty much every task. And he was,
Larrikin.
he was a larrikin. He was terrible at absolutely everything. Yet he still managed in his own way to get some money out of it and leave on his terms. And I think that kind of built his resilience, even though a lot of people were thinking, I hate living with this guy, but if I don't keep him in the house, then someone stronger is basically going to knock me out. So for that reason, I need to keep this guy on my side. Otherwise, there's going to be someone more dangerous that's going to come after me. So I found it so interesting that even though he was the weakest player and appeared like he was the biggest, the weakest threat, he was also one of the few players that actually got something out of it. So I think he was one of, I mean, he didn't really look it, but he was actually one of the most resilient players that were on the game, I think.
Brady?
okay. Look, I think it's hard, personally, I think it's hard to judge the Channel 7 characters because we haven't really gotten to see them as much as the previous iterations, but I will say that Tim is definitely someone who stands out to me from 2013. I think that he is a very strategic player. He took the format that was supposed to be a social monopoly of the audience, we're the ones who decide who stays, who goes. He took that and completely turned it into something that you never ever think in your life. Other names that come to mind, obviously Reggie. I mean, she is our first female winner. I think she's someone who has never tried to hide who she is, and she's always been herself 100%. And third person I like to mention is someone from 2005, right? All the way back to when I was literally 3 years old. So young. Okay. And that is Vespa. Now, I've heard a little bit of a rumor that Vespa was supposed to be on the All-Star series. And turns out she might not be. Turns out she was cut out in the last minute. But let me tell you something about Vespa. She is just, I mean, the show at that point had basically turned into this Love Island before Love Island was Love Island. And she just took everything to a whole new level. Like, she's just one of those people who you just want to party with, you want to get out and you want to rave with. And she's someone who's just unapologetically herself. And to me, being so young, 20, I think there's a lot of relatability with her. So yeah, those are my 3 people.
Beautiful. Let me throw some random questions your way. I'm going to make it a lot of fun. Does anyone remember Jamie, Katie, the Logan twins, Tim Bernero, Hot Dogs? Those names ring a bell. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How cheeky was Hot Dogs? I have to say, this guy went from Big Brother to his own game show to being someone in real estate. Would I buy a house from him? I probably would. With that name, Hot Dogs.
Yeah.
Next question. What would you like to see happen for future seasons? Go.
I'd probably like more outside influence. Like I would like one of the things I was saying before to Aaron and Kat was that I don't know if you remember a show called House of Hell by Andrew Denton. And one of the things that they would do is they would get people to ring up Triple M, which is a radio station, and get people to suggest pranks and stuff like that for the contestant of House of Hell. And then a few years later, they created Big Brother, which is almost the same thing, only you're allowed to leave. So I would highly recommend that they allow the outside viewers to suggest games or pranks that they have to do that that the contestants have to do in order to gain points or to gain immunity. That's what I would basically recommend for it, and it'd be great because people would ring up all the time.
Aaron, what would you like to see happen future season?
I'd like to see them going back to basics, like the old Big Brother, and yeah, I'd just like to see them go back to basics and do less of the pre-recorded format. Because to be honest, the pre-recorded format is not working really, is it?
No.
It's like, yeah, it doesn't. We don't get to know the housemates as often as we want. Like loads of things are being cut and stuff, and so yeah.
What about you, Braden? Honey, what would you like to see happen in future seasons?
Definitely we need to ditch the pre-recorded format. I pre-recording months in advance, and then by the time the show comes out, it's just there's really no excitement anymore. And I think, it doesn't need to be like every other reality show that I've watched, where it's pre-filmed and then it comes out and there's a certain amount of episodes and then there's like a boot order. It doesn't need that. I don't think that Big Brother is a show that needs to conform to something so compact and so minimalistic. And if we're going to go live, I would like to see live eviction for someone who's got to watch, all of the other seasons so far. The whole vibe of the eviction is so amazing. You've got the host, the eviction playing, the crowd chanting your name. Like with the other two series, we just got a bunch of, here's a package and then that's it. That's the end of the episode. I just think that there should be so much more with the housemates. Yeah. I'm not really getting much from the Channel 7 housemates. I mean, as much as they're great people, I'm sure they are, I don't feel really a connection to them. And if I do, it's because of a gimmick that's been portrayed. And I don't like how the show's been so heavily edited to the point there where, like, if you wanted to know the inside goss, you had to search up a podcast that's so underground and not a lot of people know about. And I just think, why do that when we could just be seeing the thing live as it is? I mean, there was Up Late with Mike Goldman. Why do you think that existed? Why do you think there were live feeds on the Big Brother website back in the 2000s? Why don't we just go back to that? It's so much more thrilling and entertaining, and it leaves Big Brother to be its own individual thing. That's the thing. It was its own thing and didn't need to change in the first way.
I have to say, with the three of you, Buckets and you both, I have to say I agree. The whole, as good as Channel 7 is, let's go back to originality. Let's go back to basics, because when you bring in 12 contestants, then you bring in another 4 or 6 contestants 24 hours later, and you make them do the first nominations challenge, and then you evict them on the same night. It's like, can we not evict them on the same night? Because you bring them in and evict them out. We don't know them from a bar of soap. I mean, why evict them in the first place? Can we just go back to getting 20 housemates and locking the doors for a week? Let them get to know each other. Let us get to know our housemates and their quirks and their personalities. And, we love gossip. We thrive on gossip when it comes to Big Brother. We get to see, we get to see their fun side, their playful side. We get to see their serious nomination side. We get to see, what I don't like is them talking about nominations to each other. I think gone are the days when you're told, no, you cannot talk about nominations. You have to keep the nominations and the points to yourself.
That's actually one thing I actually do like about it, though. I like them talking about the nominations, because when they talk about the nominations, you'll start to find that they just get a little more, they get put into survival mode, and they become a little more manipulative, and things that they would normally do or say where they weren't normally allowed to say or do because they're not allowed to talk about nominations, all of a sudden the game changes because they talk about nominations and it freaks everyone out. So because it freaks everyone out, it's very interesting to see how they play. And that's actually one of the things I actually do like about it. One of the things I don't like about it, although, is I don't like the fact when they say, usually during the ad break, is you decide who the winner is, or
Yeah.
Big Brother, you decide, and it's like you only really get that choice at the end. Whereas in the old series, you could ring up at any time, and
SMS.
by SMS or by phone, and basically choose who you want out. And you could do that as many times as you wanted. It wasn't just one vote. You could, if you wanted to, you could do like 50 votes to save someone or to vote someone out. And I thought that was great. Whereas now they just decide who stays, who goes, and it's up to them who decides. So you might really, really, really love Danny, right? But if he basically doesn't score himself immunity, he's gone, and there's nothing that can save him. So that's why I would prefer it if it was up to the viewer to decide who stays and who goes. And that's my only thing that I don't like about the series, is that the viewer has less control.
I think the pre-record is quite sad because we don't, things when they pre-record, we don't know what's exactly happening in that house.
Yeah.
We don't know what's being said. We don't know their behavior patterns. We don't know nothing. We just have to wait till it's kind of like a pre-recorded season of a comedy where you see the beginnings of it and you're like, yeah, but I don't know if I like that person, because it's just, when they say you decide, let's be real, we don't really decide.
No.
Their names are already, the winners are already predicted and announced, but we're paying for that winner's name.
Yeah, so we decide at the last minute, and even then, you're really only allowed to vote 1 or 2 times per email, right? So, I mean, I suppose you could rig it by basically coming up with 60 different email addresses that you could create at your own will. But and I'm suppose if you're that determined, I mean, you could do it, but most people aren't going to do that. Most people are just going to do their vote for who they like, and that's it. And I really think it's a missed opportunity for them doing that, when really what you should be doing is charging people to ring up and vote. That way, Channel 7 or Channel 9 or Channel 10 or whoever actually has the rights to produce Big Brother gets money coming in to the studio. And that means the cash prize gets bigger. And it also means that they know exactly how many people watch the show based off the current cash flow that's coming in.
Can I ask you boys a question? Do you find the show and the challenges predictable? Like I find the show predictable. I find the challenges, the nominations are predictable, because I feel like Channel 7's version of Big Brother is I've found that they looked at or have been watching past series and seasons of the year and have introduced previous games into this. Like, do you find it's predictable, Aaron?
Yeah, it's become quite repetitive, like in the challenges. I've noticed, like, because when I've been watching the past seasons, I've been like, oh, they've done that in this season, they've done that in that season, so it just becomes predictable towards the end. Yeah.
What about you, Brayden?
Yeah, I 100% agree. If there's any sort of, like, I guess, if there's any sort of, like, I don't know, excitement, it's very short-lived, because you see the challenge and you're like, well, this came from Survivor, this came from the past series of Big Brother, and it's like, I understand that sometimes challenges do get repeated, but here's the thing: they always benefit the people that are physically stronger, not the people that aren't. The challenges should be mixed. If they're going to go to this format and continue it on for many seasons, I don't know how long it's going to go for. I mean, the ratings are pretty questionable as it is. Then they need to mix it up. They need to make it a fair game. They need to have mental challenges because, you know, not everyone's physically agile to do it. I mean, I know from experience, my parents sometimes we watched together and they would be like, oh, Brayden, I don't know if you're in that house. We don't think that you'll be able to do that. And I just think that, you know, it's robbing people from wanting to go on the show. It's giving them a reason to not want to apply because they know that they're going to be at a disadvantage for being shit at the challenges. And I also want to bring up this one thing. Philip, what you said about the whole, like, if we decide out of the final three, I think that's a really interesting point because one thing that I've noticed is that, like, the twist. Look, I understand that every series is going to have a twist and people are going to get fake evicted and whatnot, but last year's series proves that the production just choose who they want to be in the final three. They are the ones who decide who gets saved and who gets to come back in the house. And you look at it, you look at last year's series, who are the people that got saved and, you know, by a twist and got to go to some secret bunker or some secret room. All the people that were given the great edit to be the fan favorites. Now, I'm not saying that these people were edited to be good people because for all we know, they could be good people. And again, that's another problem. We don't actually know who these people are inside and out. And yeah, it's basically production. Production is choosing who we choose to win out of the final three. It's not really our decision. So, yeah.
I think you're right about that when it says you decide the end, I actually have to strongly agree because we don't get to decide the winner or the final three. I think you're right. Production does go, okay, these contestants, how much money are they making us? How many viewers are we getting from them? Is it just their circle of family and friends?
Yeah.
Is it actual past Big Brother fans?
Yeah.
Is it new Big Brother fans?
And the other question is, how live is it?
Yeah, it's not.
Because the thing is, if you're constantly editing stuff, right, as you mentioned before, it's not really live. I mean, I wish it was live because if it was live, we'd know everything that went down. But it's not really live. The only time it's actually really live is when they do that final count, but that's about it.
What's happening?
I had 10 minutes left to go.
Yeah, okay, let's get down to it before it zooms.
Before we run out of time.
Before we run out of time for some reason. Let's get down to it. Do you think Big Brother should go back to 10? Yes or no? Aaron?
Yes, definitely. Because when it was on channel 10, it was more basic and like they didn't have much to do and it was live as well. And yeah.
What about you, Brayden?
Okay, so when it comes to the channel 10 era, which is what I'm watching at the moment, I do really like it. I think that it's the best iteration of Big Brother Australia. I mean, look, do I think that we can get Gretel Colleen back as host? Probably not. I mean, she's 59 and she's probably moved on with her life. But here's the thing. I think that if Channel 10 were to take Big Brother back, they should take some of the elements that Channel 9 had. I like the twist and the whatever. And I think that what I liked about Channel 10 is just how real and how almost uncut, pun intended, it is. That being a reference to Big Brother Uncut, which was a thing.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, like it. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think if Channel 10 had the opportunity, they should take it back. And I mean, yeah, of course, they have Survivor to go off of, but you know, if that was to subside and go away, I think that Big Brother should be something that they take back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have one more thing to say about that. You're probably going to laugh at me for saying that, and that's okay because I like it when people laugh at me. Don't put it on Channel 7 or Channel 10. Put it on SBS. That way, if you put it on SBS, they can be as R-rated as they want, which is what I kind of like about it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree.
Okay.
I think it should go back. I think it should go back on 10 regardless. I think 10 needs to really revise, have a meeting and going, listen, it's about time we listen to our viewers. It's, you know, we need to go back to basics. And maybe if they take out Neighbours.
Oh God, I'd love that. If they took out Neighbours for Big Brother, I would be so happy.
Yeah.
Neighbours is like work placement for basically every other job in television. You know, that's where you start. But let's be honest, like, you know, if you think you're going to start a 50-year career and actually be in the movies, it's just not going to happen.
Look, all I'm going to say quickly before time runs out is that get rid of Neighbours, replace it with Big Brother. You've got a hit show. You've got a 3-month powerful. Let's bring back everything we know, which is the live nominations, the live evictions, people dressing up. Let's bring back the interviews. Let's bring back the secrecy, the naughtiness of it. Let's bring back the fun of it and the original voice of Big Brother. So I think that should be done. But that's it for now. I think. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to having you back on Cat Space pretty soon. Thanks, Buckets. Thanks, guys. Take it easy, and we'll be on YouTube in a matter of minutes. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.